Hi, third grade. We are back with part 2 of the shared read, Juanita in the Beanstalk. In part 1, we learned that Juanita and her mother needed to buy some food, so Juanita had to sell her pet goat. On her way to town, she met a man who sold her some special frioles. Let's read on to find out what happens next. For this lesson, you will need your Reader's Writer's Companion book and a pencil. Then, open up to page 36. If you need a moment to grab your materials, just press pause and play again when you're ready to get started.
Juanita thought carefully as she considered the man's offer. He seemed caring and considerate. Certainly he would be kind to Pepe, so Juanita finally decided to sell Pepe. She accepted the beans. When Juanita got home, Mama was upset with her decision. "You have returned home with no food and no money," she exclaimed. Juanita had to admit that Mama was right. All she had were 3 beans, and she still missed Pepe. Worst of all, Mama was unhappy. Juanita planted the beans in the backyard and went to bed. The next morning, she woke up and went outside. A gigantic beanstalk as tall as the clouds stood where Juanita had planted the beans. Juanita was curious. "I'm going to see what's up there," she said to herself, so Juanita climbed the beanstalk. At the top, she saw a grand and magnificent palace in the middle of a field. She knocked on the door, and a maid answered. "Hide!" cried the maid. "The giant is coming now, and he doesn't like strangers." So Juanita quickly crawled under the table.
Our first question focuses on paragraphs 1 through 3. 1, 2, 3. This one's on point of view. How does Mama feel about Juanita's decision? In paragraph 2, we read that Mama was upset with her decision. She exclaimed, "You have returned home with no food and no money?" Then in the third paragraph, it says, "Worst of all, Mama was unhappy." So Mama was upset and unhappy. Let's write that on the line. She was upset and unhappy. Go ahead and write this on the line. Now we have to circle text evidence. We found our text evidence in paragraphs 2 and 3. Here it says she was upset. Let's circle that. Then it said in paragraph 3 that she was unhappy. Let's also circle that. This next question focuses on paragraphs 4 through 6. 4, 5, 6. This one's on events. Underline 3 events that show this is a fairy tale. Let's reread these 3 paragraphs and then underline the 3 events that help me to know that this is a fairy tale. Remember, fairy tales are made-up stories that could not happen in real life, and they include very magical situations. So we're going to look for situations that seem like they couldn't happen in real life. Juanita planted the beans in the backyard and went to bed. The next morning, she woke up and went outside. A gigantic beanstalk as tall as the clouds stood where Juanita had planted the beans. Well, that sounds like it was magical, so I'm going to underline this entire sentence because there's no way in real life that a beanstalk could grow as tall as the clouds. Juanita was curious. "I'm going to see what's up there," she said to herself. So Juanita climbed the beanstalk. At the top, she saw a grand and magnificent palace in the middle of a field. I'm going to underline this sentence because I know that there's no way that there is going to be a grand and magnificent palace that is in the middle of a field all the way up in the sky. That just doesn't make sense for real life. She knocked on the door and a maid answered. "Hide!" cried the maid. "The giant is coming now, and he doesn't like strangers." That sounds like it's our third event. Giants aren't real, but they're great characters in fairy tales. Let's underline the word giant. Let's finish the paragraph. So Juanita quickly crawled under the table. Make sure you have underlined these three fairy tale events. This question brings us back to paragraph 6. It says, summarize. Why does the maid tell Juanita to hide? Draw a box around the reason. We read that a giant was coming and that he doesn't like strangers. This tells me that the giant might be scary and she has to hide because he doesn't like strangers. Let's box that in.
The giant stomped in, carrying an unhappy hen in a cage. He said, "Lay, hen, lay." Juanita's curiosity grew, and she peeked from under the table. Then she saw the hen's creation. Juanita gasped. It was a golden egg. The poor hen reminded Juanita of Pepe. She wanted to give it a better home. She ran between the giant's legs and grabbed the cage. She raced to the beanstalk. The giant roared in anger and chased after her. Juanita was able to slide down the beanstalk, but the giant was too heavy. He caused the stalk to break and crash to the ground. The beanstalk was gone forever, and Juanita and the hen were safe. The hen was happy to have a new home and laid many golden eggs. Mama was happy to use the eggs to buy everything they needed. And Juanita was happy because she was able to trade a golden egg with the old man to get Pepe back.
This question focuses on paragraphs 1 and 2. It asks to summarize. Why does Juanita want the hen? Underline key details. As I think about this question, I'm reminded of paragraph 2 where it says, the poor hen reminded Juanita of Pepe. It goes on to say she had seen how the giant was just yelling at this hen and she felt bad for it. Let's underline these two sentences. The poor hen reminded Juanita of Pepe and she wanted to give it a better home. This next question is on paragraph 3. Point of view. How does Mama feel about the hen? Let's reread paragraph 3 to find our answer. It says, the hen was happy to have a new home and laid many golden eggs. Mama was happy to use the eggs to buy everything they needed, and Juanita was happy because she was able to trade a golden egg with the old man to get Pepe back. The question asked, how does Mama feel about the hen? In the second sentence of this paragraph, it says, Mama was happy to use the eggs to buy everything they needed. So, Mama was happy about the hen because it gave them golden eggs to get them everything that they needed. Let's add our answer to the line. Mama was happy about the hen's golden eggs. Go ahead and write that on the line. Now we have to circle text evidence. Let's circle the sentence that we use to get our answer. Author's craft. How does the author help you understand how Juanita feels at the end of the fairy tale? Well, I read in the text that it said Juanita was happy because she was able to trade a golden egg with the old man to get Pepe back. I can also see in the illustration how happy her expression is. All right, boys and girls, that's the end of part 2 of our shared read, Juanita and the Beanstalk. To summarize, this story was about a girl named Juanita who had a need for food. She had to sell her goat to get some food, but instead wound up selling them for some beans that end up being magical. She climbed the beanstalk and found a giant with a special hen that laid golden eggs. Juanita was able to save the hen, give it a good life, and then use the golden eggs to get everything they needed. This fairy tale had a happy ending. The family got what they needed, and Juanita got Pepe back. Thanks for watching and learning about fairy tales with me today. Bye for now.